Hey Crush, here's your video for the week. First, a couple announcements really quick. One, remember that May 7th, we have Kayla's girls workout here at the gym at 10 a.m. And then also remember that this is the last week if you want to get one of the tank tops, one of the green tank tops, the If You Bro You Know tank tops. The sign up sheet's up front. The picture up there is terrible. I apologize, my printer apparently doesn't like that color green. So I've tried to print a couple other times, it came out worse every time. Check out Facebook, check out Instagram. If you don't have either of those or you haven't seen a picture, let me know, I can show you a picture, but it's a bright neon green, lots of colors, but it's got like something curling in the arm, curling in the picture. So if you bro, if you want one of those, it's up front. Also, the sign up sheet for Tom and Carly's going away party is up front. You don't need to bring anything, you don't have to bring anything. I'm guessing we'll have plenty of food, but if you'd like to bring something, the sign-up sheet's up there and you kind of see what people are bringing already, but that's up front as well. That's on May 27th, so that's quite a ways out. So this week I come from back here because the board back here has some suggestions on what people want to see in these videos. The first one's a member spotlight. I would love to do that, but I record these videos when the gym is empty, and I would love to include the member spotlight as kind of an interview type thing like I used to do. So the only way I can do that is if I know how to record a video before and then record this one and merge them together. So if anybody can help me with that, I haven't spent any time looking for it. I guess I'm being lazy there. But if anybody knows how to make videos or join videos with a nice segue of some sort, please hit me up because I'd love to do some of those member spotlights. I think that'd be great. But I can't really do them until I know how to join videos. So the second question up there, and if you have anything, please write it back here. You don't need to put your name back here. If you have any questions, could be mobility, could be exercise, could be why we do things the way we do things, could be, I don't know, could be what is CrossFit or why we do the things we do, whatever. Put it back here because I'd love to include this stuff. If you have questions, you want me to cover it, please put it back here. Today's question is eating enough versus too little. This is a tough one to dive right in, right? For myself, it's taken a long time to figure that out. Eating too much, I've definitely eaten too little. When I eat too little, I don't sleep very well and I tend to get hurt more often. Those are things I notice when I'm eating too little. And when you eat too much, obviously you just gain a little bit of weight, but probably not that much unless you eat a whole bunch of junk. So the way I figured out how much I should eat in a given day, I've done this now over the course of 7 or 8 years, trying to figure out this problem, right? Bless your hearts if you're one of those people that just eats and really don't gain weight, really don't lose weight, you just eat. Food isn't a problem for you. It is for me, and this is something I've had a lifelong issue with food. I definitely tend to overeat. I know I tend to overeat. I have a hard time saying no. I have a hard time knowing if I'm full or not. That's why I'm really picky about how I eat and tracking my foods. From somebody used to be 300 and some pounds till now, I just know if I don't, I will definitely overeat. I eat out of boredom, I eat too much, I have a hard time saying no to sweets. I'm just not good at that kind of stuff. I think there's a lot of people that are like that. If you're one of the people that doesn't, that can say no, that can do one plate and they call it good, I'm envious. So, how I've done this, how I've got to the point where I know how much I should eat in a day. The watches kind of sort of help, right? But I've noticed that I had a Fitbit for a while, and then I had a Whoop for a couple of years, and now I have a Fitbit again. The calories on these things are vastly different, and how they come up with the calories is really crazy, and there's great differences. Like with my Whoop, I very rarely, according to my Whoop, burned more than 3,000 calories in a day. Even on the days where I was active all day in the gym, had a hard workout, went and golfed, and wherever I golf, I always walk and carry my clubs. So that's 4 hours of walking and carrying golf clubs. It still would very rarely tell me I burned more than 3,000 calories. On the day I rode my 100-mile bike ride, it told me I burned 5,000 calories that day. And I rode my bike for like 10 hours straight that day. I still think that was probably way underreporting. On the other hand now, and prior to my Whoop, my Fitbit before, and now this Fitbit that I'm wearing now, that I've had for like 3 or 4 days, it's regularly telling me I'm over 3,000 calories. Miss told me I had a 3,500 calorie day already. So it's vastly different. So I don't think the watches are a great tool to tell you how much you should eat, calorie-wise. I think you need to go get tested. Go get yourself tested. There's several ways you can get yourself tested. You can do a DEXA scan. Kind of expensive, but it's like a literal scan. It scans your body fat, your bone density, a whole bunch of stuff, your muscle mass, and it gives you your resting metabolic rate, your BMR, your basal metabolic rate, BMR. Your basal metabolic rate is if you woke up during a day and laid on the couch all day and did nothing, that's the base amount of calories you would burn in a day. You can do it from a DEXA scan. You can do it from, we used to have Roxanne come by with her dunk tank where it's submerge yourself underwater, exhale a bunch of water and get dunked. That tells you that. Now she's stationed up permanently up north, so those are harder to find. Or I have a scale that I bought on Amazon that tells me a whole bunch of stuff. It tells me your bone density, your muscle mass, your weight, your BMR, your basal metabolic rate, which is what we're looking for, right? If you kind of get a sense of those things, they all kind of start to sound about the same thing. And I've done quite a few of them, and it basically always tells me I'm right about 2,000, maybe 2,100 calories a day if I do nothing all day. So if I take that 2,100 calories a day, I can probably safely add in 400 or 500 calories at least in a day. Maybe a little more than that. So I've usually settled in right about 2,500 calories for myself. And then I start to break that down. You know, I'm not gonna talk about macros during this video. I'm not gonna talk about it. It's about if you're eating too much or too little. So I think you need to figure out how much you're burning in a day if you do nothing all day. And then you need to have an honest answer with yourself. If you're very sedentary in your job all day, you're probably not burning much more than that BMR. Maybe a couple hundred calories more, maybe 300 or 400 calories more. Depends how much you get up and walk, how vigorous you are when you walk, and how much you come to the gym or go do something some activity where you get your heart rate up. But your BMR is where you have to start. And then that's where you go. And then I would say from there, like I said, add in 200 calories if you're a smaller female, maybe 400 or 500 calories if you're a bigger male, depending on what you work out, and then eat that on a daily basis. And if you feel really hungry every day, and be honest if you're hungry, right? Are you hungry enough to go eat some meat? Or are you hungry enough where you want to have a cupcake or some sugar and your just body is trying to eat, right? Or your mind thinks you're hungry, but you're not really hungry. That's always a good test. If you're willing to sit down and have a piece of fish because you're hungry, or have some broccoli because you're hungry, then you're hungry. If you think you're hungry, but that fish doesn't quite sound good, the broccoli doesn't quite sound good, some ground turkey doesn't quite sound good, then you're probably not really hungry, you're just bored. You're just bored and your body thinks you should eat, or for some reason, you always eat every day at 3 o'clock, and now it's gonna be 3 o'clock, and you're like, well, I should be eating now, like Pavlov's dog, right? You're just always at 3 o'clock eating, or before you go to bed, you always think you should have this snack. Before I go to bed, I always need to have a snack. You're probably not really hungry, your body's just trained to know that it should be eating at that time, and therefore you're eating. So, to answer the question, eating too much versus too little, get your BMR, get your basal metabolic rate. Get a scale on Amazon. If you want to do nutrition, I'll bring in my scale. I do charge for it, but it'll get you your basal metabolic rate, and that gives you a baseline. And then you need to start tracking your food. If you really start to get serious, how much are you eating? Because if your basal metabolic rate is 1,700 calories, and you really don't know what you're eating in terms of number of calories in a day, you don't know if you're overeating or undereating. So you get your BMR, but if you don't track your foods, if you eyeball a tablespoon of peanut butter, but you're really eating 2 servings of peanut butter, your calories to the roof. If you get a handful of almonds, but you don't weigh them, you could be eating 400 or 500 calories in almonds really quick. So you gotta start tracking your food. That's how you know if you're eating too much versus too little. It's gonna take work. What we do in here is takes 1 hour a day. You have 23 other hours in a day to fuck it up. So you need to put in the work in the kitchen. If you want to change how you look, the kitchen is going to play a huge part in that. And if you want some more answers, you can put them up in here. I'll be happy to cover them. I'll be happy to talk to you one-on-one. But as far as too much or too little, I would start with the BMR. Start with your BMR and work it from there. All right, good question, really good question, because that is a tough one that people have a really, really hard time. You know, if you go to websites, there's all kinds of websites out there that tell you, put in all this data and says, well, you should burn this many calories. It doesn't know. Get your basal metabolic rate, because that's the only way you're really going to find it. And there are a wide variety of places you can get that. Let me know if you want suggestions. If you happen to work at if you happen to be on the base, if you happen to be military, they have a scanner up at the base that you can use for it. I think it's really cheap, if not free, and that'll give you that data. All right, really quick today's workouts. I'm almost at 10 minutes for this video already. This week's workouts. We have, on Monday, we have some AMRAP with some light back squats for strength. And then we roll into a workout of 100 wall balls, 100 pull-ups. No, they're not broken up. And if you're doing competition, it's a 30-pound wall ball for the guys, 20-pound for ladies. 100 wall balls, 100 pull-ups. On Tuesday, we're gonna do every 30 seconds, 1 power clean and 2 shoulder overhead. Goal there is to try to work up something kind of heavyish, because you're not gonna have time to change weights in a 30-second window, so you get time to warm up, and then see if you can hit that every 30 seconds for 10 minutes, 20 rounds of that. And then we have a lot of short, intense workouts this week. On Monday, it's gonna be a 3-minute max cal row, rest 3 minutes, and we're gonna do that 4 times. So you should be going hard for that 3 minutes. On Wednesday, we have 3 sets. You work through all this work. It's gonna be kind of a longer one, then you rest 2 minutes and go through it 3 times. Rowing, single arm, dumbbell shoulder overhead, box jumps, other side, dumbbell or double unders, dumbbell snatches, and then if we do performance, it's gonna be some GHDs or sit-ups for some of the other options. So it's a lot going on there, but you go through it, rest 2 minutes, and go through it 3 total times. Thursday, we're gonna overhead squat, and then the AMRAP's gonna be some farmer or some suitcase carries. We're gonna use 1 kettlebell, do some suitcase carries, do some goblet squats and some kettlebell swings. And then we're gonna end on Friday with, I titled this one, But Did You Puke? AMRAP 5 is gonna be just seated strict press. You sit on the floor with your legs straight out, as many strict presses as you can do with a barbell, 5 minutes. And then the tough one's gonna be 3 minutes. You have a 3-minute window to do buy-in of 20 cal bike for the guys, 16 for the ladies, 10 hang power snatch at 75-55. Whatever time is left in that window, as many thrusters as you can do with 75-55. So very light barbell. The note is, anybody drops the barbell from up here on Friday, everybody does 10 burpees. So don't drop that barbell. You rest 3 minutes. We're gonna do that 5 times. So if you really go hard, that's gonna be a brutal one. That's your week. If you have questions, please hit me up. Have a good week, Crush.